Hi everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie, and today's video I am so excited to share this because once I learned how to do this I was very excited because it means that I can probably give gifts to my autistic child and ones that he might actually appreciate. So if you have a child or an adult on the autism spectrum and they have very narrow interests and don't change off that often, you may have hit a couple of cycles of birthdays and Christmases and then you are out of ideas to give them gifts because you've already given them already. And so for me it is a little bit of effort and a little bit of work, and it can be a little bit monotonous at times. But to me, it was so worth it to be able to give my son a gift that he would actually appreciate and like. So what I'm talking about is making puzzles. Now, I know that there are places where you can purchase puzzles that are in the interest that your child has, but they tend to be expensive, and if you don't have a lot of extra cash, then it can be a little bit more pricey or too pricey, out of your reach. And so this is an idea that you can do. So Babar, if you're not Canadian or you don't know what this is because you've never seen it, don't worry, that's not your fault. You aren't missing anything. My husband and I watched this when we were kids, and we found a Christmas episode that we were all nostalgic about. We showed it to my son, and of course he latched onto it. Now, this was made when we were children. My husband and I were children, and then maybe even slightly before we were even alive. And so, as you can imagine, how much merchandise do they still have out? There's a couple of books. That's pretty much it. And most of them are found at the library. They're not for purchase. And so that was a bit hard because then it was something new that he was interested in. Yay! We did find some stuff on eBay, but of course people who are collectors who have this stuff are charging exorbitant prices again. So the other reason why I did this was it was for my son. He's 12 years old, and he just started doing puzzles. And so I was really excited to utilize that learning skill with something that he was interested in as well. Now, this is a puzzle that's already made, but I wanted to share how I had done it, how I had built it for those people who who don't have the means to just send a picture and get it made for them. So I went to our thrift store and I bought a 3-in-1 puzzle. Now, thrift store purchases, I always go when it's like a bag sale day, or it wasn't that expensive for me to do this and get this. But also when you get a puzzle from a thrift store, is it all there? Is it not? This one had all of its pieces and I was really excited. But it was puzzles of Disney princesses, and my 12-year-old son probably wouldn't care too much. And so this is the idea that I had to print off these pictures that I could find online on the internet. Make sure that you look for like a higher resolution photo. That's just the number on this corner. So your left bottom corner on Google, you'll see a number. If it's in the hundreds, it might be a little bit more difficult, but if it's in the thousands, for sure you can blow it up or shrink it down however big your puzzle is. I don't suggest doing anything too terribly small. We're at like 100 pieces at most for his puzzle building abilities. But what I liked about this one was that there was literally 3 puzzles the same size, and then I just could do what I wanted. So what I did was I put it all together, and then I spray painted it with just regular spray paint, black, and then I glued with regular white glue the picture onto it. You let it all dry and then what I suggest next is to take your fingernail or something flat, not sharp, but flat, and like actually give yourself somewhere to follow the box cutter with. So the box cutter, utility knife, craft knife, whatever you use, Make sure it's good and sharp, otherwise you might tear the paper. Make sure it's dry or you definitely will tear the paper. And you just cut using those lines that you did. Now, I did 4 of these for Christmas this year, and it did get a little bit monotonous because it was just so much cutting. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. This I wanted to show you because sometimes the glue will let go as you're snipping and cutting, and so this little lip was off, and my son, the first second he saw it, he tore it off, and so I'm gonna have to like paint touch up that picture. But I wanted to show it to you so that you were aware there might be a few little leftover edges. And then same deal with this one. So this one, I was able to take it all the way to the big size that I wanted, just because of the nature of the picture. So it is helpful, especially when you're teaching kids to do puzzles, to have something that has the edges really well marked and noticeable, because then what they know that those are end pieces, so then it's a little easier to really sort the pieces. But this one was able to do a whole big one. The other thing that I was going to warn you is that because these pieces had glue in the cracks, it can be a little bit stiffer at the very beginning to put them together and take them apart. But if your child likes snapping or crunching noises, that might actually work in your favor. If not, just put the pieces together a couple of times and that glue lets go and it fits together beautifully and like a dream. So the other thing that I did make for my Darian was, and I haven't gotten the picture for it yet, so I'll just show you. His favorite painting is Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. And so I made this one, which took a lot longer, just a heads up. It did take a little bit longer to build just because it was, I think originally it was, again, this was from the thrift store. But it was a picture of sunflower babies, like the Ann Geddes ones. And so I put it together and I glued this picture, spray painted it, glued the picture on. And again, I have the end pieces have, like I painted a little frame around it. And so that is, again, really easy for him to follow that. That's not a middle piece, and so it's easier to sort out. But yeah, no, this was a good one too for me to be able to, and they look perfectly great and are great puzzle pieces to go together. So I hope this has been a great idea for you if you're one of those parents who are struggling with what to get my child this year for Christmas or for his birthday. I'm sharing this now because then you can have a whole year to get to Christmas. It took me a while to cut the pieces apart because, again, busy mom doing homeschooling and life, and so that's one of those things that get put off to the side on the back burner. But I was able to do it for Christmas, and I hope that this has been helpful. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.